I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they scored! They did it!
Left, feet left.
What the hell was that?
Oh, yeah!
What the fuck are you talking about?
Yo, what's up, everybody? Kicking it stateside, back again. August 31st, the last day of what seems like summer winding down. We got Labor Day coming up this weekend. But, you know, like we always say, there's just never a dull moment in the world of football. We have transfer deadline day going on today. Currently, some interesting moves have already dropped today. And I'm sure we're still waiting on the Camavinga situation. We see that Antoine Griezmann and João Felix possibly swapping with Barcelona and Atletico Madrid, doing that little move. We saw Dan James move from Man United to Leeds recently today. So lots of moves in the books, and I'm sure there'll be more dropping. The main topic, obviously, though, today, we got to talk about our U.S. men's national team. Brian, the road to World Cup 2022 starts Thursday. This is what we've been waiting for. This is what now this group of, I guess we can almost say the golden generation. If they weren't already considered that, I would say that this is the start to hopefully success for the U.S. men's national team going forward. But, I mean, this is the time. This is the time to shine for us on the world stage to prove that we are headed in that right direction.
You're giving me chills over here.
I know. It's like
sitting here like
what we were looking forward to. This is it. We're here.
We're basically, 4.5 years removed now. This is our opportunity for redemption. We've made some strides dramatically. Obviously winning the Nations League, winning the Gold Cup, but this is it. This is what we've talked about. This is what all that work was for. All these rotated sides, all the whatever was involved, building to this moment now, and this is where it begins. It's another long road. This isn't an overnight process. It starts on Thursday, like you said, and we are going to be running all the way till the end of March before we have some full qualification. Hopefully we play well enough that, maybe by the beginning of March we already have clarity on where we're going to be. But it starts here, man. It starts here.
Just we want to have those games where we're not worrying about like we worried about in 2018 where we failed to qualify for the World Cup. We don't want to leave it to that last day to say, are we going to be in or are we going to be out? We want to, like you said, we want to be sitting pretty as we move into the new year. And
it would be beautiful to clinch that spot on March 24th, the first game of March against Mexico, in Mexico. I mean, the way things have been trending in that battle between our two teams, that would be a perfect spot to clinch it, get in, and then be able to kind of rest up against Panama and Costa Rica and not have, like you said, not have stress. Yeah, that would just be the topper. So,
yeah, it's again, it's one of those where leading into our poll question, the U.S. men's national team will go 3-0 here to start the World Cup qualification. Agree or disagree? We start off in El Salvador on Thursday night, 10 o'clock, a late one. So I think no matter what, if you have to work early, stay up because it should be, hopefully it'll be over by halftime where you don't have to stay up till midnight. You could go to bed when we're securely up 3-0 at half, and you could feel pretty good about yourself going away. And then the big one on Sunday coming up here, we host Canada, which now Canada is a lot better than they have been in previous years with, I'm assuming Jonathan David and Alphonso Davies are going to be included in that squad.
Oh, absolutely.
So, again, Canada not a cakewalk like they used to be.
But I'm loving... No, go ahead. Sorry.
Be in Nashville, right?
Oh, that's... Yeah, Yep, that's exactly... I was just going to say, I'm loving the location. Yeah. It's not in Michigan. It's not in Seattle. It's not in a place that's going to be in, especially now with the way the world is, it's not going to be in a very easy place for Canadian fans to flood the stadium.
Move that away.
yeah. And I'm sure there's not a huge influx of, Canadians in Nashville. So that should be very, very much a home game for us, which you and I know have, since we've known each other, basically have begged the U.S. start being smart about their locations of some of these home games and getting them a little more centralized to where, our border countries fans maybe don't live as localized and don't make it away games for us like we saw out in Arizona.
Yeah, you don't want to make things harder enough on us than the pressure that's already on this team to make this World Cup. But again, I mean, you start off with El Salvador on the road. You get Canada at home, which are two really favorable matchups.
Oh, absolutely.
Start out. And then you go on the road to Honduras, which, again, that could be a real toss-up. That would be the game where if they somehow manage to get a draw, I think you would be okay with that result. Anything, I think, less would be a little upsetting if you went there and lost.
Yeah, absolutely.
Those three games. I mean, I think the realistic... I know we would all want the 9 points from 3 of 3, but I think realistically 7 points out of this first 3 I think everyone would be pretty okay with.
Yeah, I had a gentleman I posted on Facebook. And again, I just want to say hi to everybody. Didn't get a chance. Tommy, what up, buddy? Daly, thank you for joining us. Daly definitely agrees. He thinks that, we should get the 3 dubs. Ritter, I see you, buddy. But unfortunately for you, this team is so bad, nothing else matters at this point. That's why that's staying like that for a long time. I'll tell you all about it later when we still do have to talk a little Prem at some point today.
Of course.
And Frill, what's up, brother? I know we're going to get you on. Jakey's a big United fan, so we were going to try and get him on today, but it actually makes more sense anyway. I told him wait till Ronaldo makes that debut, and then the following show after that when he gets his, debut day brace and United win and all's well in Manchester, he can hop on with us and discuss.
For sure.
So,
yeah, I think that it. Again, I'll save that for when we talk about the Prem and stuff. But yeah, I think that's a good move for him overall.
Oh yeah, and Danny, what's up, buddy? Now to my side of the poll side, I'm going to agree just because I feel like this is that opportunity with this team to come out of the gate and really put a stamp on what we've built. Like we talked about in the beginning of the show, this build-up, this anticipation of qualification and really coming balls to the wall with our best sides. And then because October's tough. October's a lot harder. Even though we get 2 home games in October, we get Jamaica, Panama, and Costa Rica, which I think is a little bit more deeper competition as a whole. And I think we got to be ready. We got to put the stamp down. 7 is okay. If one of these road games ends up being a draw, I'll live. 6 is not okay because that means we lost one of these games, and I don't think any 3 of these games should be games that we lose at this point.
No, we shouldn't lose any of them. Again, if you were saying to me that we went to Honduras and lost, I think everyone would be a little disappointed in that result.
Yeah.
But
a draw, maybe I would understand with Honduras or Canada. But
yeah.
but then the other one's got to be a win. Like we can't lose. we got to get 3 results in this. Maybe 3-0 isn't a. It should have just maybe the question should have been 3 results, but
I mean,
we can't have 2 draws either though. So I can maybe not. You got to word that better. 7 points minimum. How about that? 7 points minimum.
Yeah, I think. I mean, going 3 for 3. That is the dream start that we all. I mean, we all expect it though from this team. Again, we can go down the roster then here once we get through the.
I mean, good teams should at this point. Like, if we're going to consider ourselves a good team, we're now top 10 in the world. We should go into it with that confidence. Like, we should look at these other 3 teams and say, absolutely, we have to win these 3 games and set the tone for this qualification that we are now the team to beat in here, and that 2 other teams are going to be lucky enough to join us in World Cup play.
Right. And again, it's tough because, like we said, Canada is a much improved team from the past, really ever.
Yeah.
They are now producing world-class players. You have a Jamaica side that really, if, in fact, Mikel Antonio does declare that he wants to play for Jamaica, makes a huge difference in, fearing a Jamaican team, or just being like, they're a solid side, but...
Yeah, another guy that, when we talk about the Prem, he just keeps doing it in the best league in the world, so what makes you think he's not going to do it when he gets his chance for Jamaica?
Yeah, it's, again, I think that's a huge deciding factor, whether I'm like, is October going to be hard, or is October going to be like, Yeah.
Yeah, and then you get November, and we're home against Mexico and away against Jamaica. There's only 2 in November, so I really, really think they have to come out. They have to get these 3.
It's favorable.
I'm going to stick with my guns, and I'm going to just 100 agree. 3-0 is the start. The start has to be 3-0.
I mean, if, like you said, if we want to be considered that top nation and be in control of CONCACAF, it's the 3 games that's going to be favorable to start out. You really can, because I know everyone says that, road games in CONCACAF are just totally different, especially World Cup qualifying road games, but still.
Yeah.
Like we talked about before the show, we said the last 2 games, they were 8-0 aggregate against El Salvador. And if you want to go back all the way till, before 2014, it's 16 to it's 16 to 2 or 1. It's our success against El Salvador has been, the history is on our side.
Yeah, the El Salvador game has to be like a 3-0 just early statement to this qualifying, because these games are coming quick. Again, for all the guys joining us, Greggy, thanks for joining us. The casual fans, or the guys that still aren't even fans yet, here's opportunities, man. September 2nd, 5th, and 8th, before your football starts. This is a perfect opportunity. I think all 3 of these games are FS1 type games. But you're basically seeing our best side, and we didn't get to that point yet, and we will discuss this roster selection. For the most part, this is AAA team. Few question marks, few injuries, few things along those lines. But this is it. I mean, this is what we got going forward, and we're gonna take this core and a few other guys that maybe didn't make this squad for whatever reason, and that's gonna be the future of this sport in this country.
Yeah, I mean, I think the selection, you see your A guys there, the guys that you needed to bring, and you have some interesting ones. But we kind of thought that most of the players that were selected were who we thought they were going to bring.
All I'm going to say is, looking at who they brought, there's a very good chance that you and I picked the starting striker. I don't know if they're going to go with Sargent or Sabachu, but I don't see Pepe getting starts. I see Pepe coming in off the bench in all 3 games so they can cap tie him And then the only thing he would have would be his one-time transfer to get out of, because he stated, everybody saw it. It looks great that he wants to be part of this group. But at the end of the day, right now he still has options. He has not had a cap with the U.S. But if he gets in all 3 of these games as a sub, then he is technically cap tied, and he would only have that option of the one-time transfer. So people like Lord Walker, who killed this Pepe edition because his boy Hop didn't make the team, and again, I was disappointed Hop didn't make the team either. There's a reason behind it, and you know that. He knows that, and I didn't get into the argument with him. But, I mean, like, we all have to know that part of this is a game and somewhat of a business, and this kid is the hottest thing on the planet right now. Again, for us, it's like how quickly you forget the other guy. But I watched that FC Dallas game the other night, and they were just running, like back to back. And he's involved in a lot of play, but he looks like a good player. So if he really wants to get involved with this team, and you don't want to lose him to Mexico, this is a good opportunity. First 3 games against not such tough opponents outside of Canada. And get him some game time and get a chance to lock him in.
Again, it was a smart move to bring him in to show him kind of off the bat like what you're going to be working with and how important maybe he is to this team going forward. I know that's, again, in the striker position is up for grabs. You just don't know. You figured that looking at it, you're probably saying what most of us said, that Pulisic and Gio Reyna are probably shoo-ins in that front 3 that Greg's going to play. But, does Sargent get that start up top on Thursday, or does he go with, maybe Jordan Sebachu?
Yeah, Sebachu or Pifok or however you want to list it. When I first saw this, I'm like, who the hell is this guy? And then I realized that some people list him as Pifok, some people list him as Sebastian.
Yeah,
it's actually like Tador. It's not even Jordan. It's a very long name, but that's my guy. He just keeps carrying young boys. He keeps scoring. A little bit older, a little bit more veteran leadership. Again, if it was me looking at the lack of midfield, and that would be my biggest gripe with this lineup, is I feel like he was way too light, only taking 5 midfielders and 10 defenders, especially when one of those defenders was James Sands. I don't quite understand why James Sands made this team. I know he was part of that starting duo that won Gold Cup, but like every time there looked like there was going to be a potential of a U.S. disaster during that tournament, it was usually coming off of his foot. I tweeted an awful lot about James Sands during that tournament. But he also, for New York, does play like a holding midfielder role often for New York. And you know how I felt about Gio playing some midfield as well. So that could be part of it, being he's so heavy on forwards. I don't know if they're able to or what the plan is for the replacement of Weah either.
Yeah, that's a good. I didn't see who they were thinking.
They haven't announced. Yeah, I mean, you would think if they stick with a striker, it's DK or Hop.
Right.
That would be the. But now maybe they go with another midfielder. Maybe they add a little bit more midfield depth.
Yeah, I mean, I think they were thinking like you said, because when I went to the Philly Union NYCFC game, and James Sands pretty much roamed around the field like wherever he wanted.
Yeah.
I think he started at center back, but by the time the game was almost over, he was kind of like a box-to-box midfielder in a way.
Yeah, they put him in like a holding and a box-to-box at times.
I like the way he's a physical kid, though. He'll give you a little bit of lip. He made a couple hard fouls on like Ali Bedoya, which is like, all right, you're going after like one of the veteran guys that are respected. You kind of want to get in that, you want to get that respect back too. So I like the feistiness, and maybe that's why Greg brought him in. I
can understand that, and looking at the other defenders, I don't see him starting. Maybe the El Salvador game early, but like he's not starting over Brooks. He's not starting over McKenzie. I don't think he's starting over Ream. I think all 3 of those would get selected before he would. in most of the starting lineups. Tim Ream was kind of a surprise, but I'm not surprised.
I had that in my mind that.
And if you look, go ahead. No,
when I was going through that, who I thought would be on this team, I was like, does he bring in Tim Ream for some veteran, that veteran leadership out there? Maybe he's not going to play as much, but at least that guy that's been there before and, plays on that high stage. So I'm not surprised he was in that squad.
Yeah, well, I think he may play more than we both expect because I think we say recent success helps. Fulham is currently sitting in first place of the championship. He's starting every game. He's got Anthony Robinson starting alongside of him, so that level of trust and comfort is there. I wouldn't be surprised if you saw Anthony Robinson, Ream, Brooks, and Dest as your starting back four in a big game for that comfort, with maybe McKenzie being the number one off the bench. Although I would prefer probably McKenzie over Ream, but chemistry is huge. We say that all the time. It's not just skill. Sometimes that lack of chemistry can really hurt a team of the most skilled players.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing, I guess. You got to think about, John Brooks is going to be the starting center back. And Dest has to be out there. I guess, would he play left back or would he play right back?
With these selections of Bello and Robinson, you would think Dest is your starting right back with Yedlin backing him up.
And Anthony Robinson left back?
Yeah, I would think. I mean, that would be me. And we still have Miles Robinson, too, another one. I mean, we have so much depth at center back on this team. That's why it's intriguing to me to bring Miles Robinson, to bring Walker Zimmerman, again, coming off that injury, and to bring Sands with all those other guys. I thought maybe like a Shaq Moore or a Reggie Cannon would possibly, but I guess Yedlin gets that spot. I would have left one of them off probably and brought another midfielder. I still don't.
Yeah. I
mean, you could argue maybe Bello, but he's a little young. Maybe would have brought like a Giacchini who had a really good tournament. I'm a little perplexed in why we need so many center backs. But
yeah, it's one of those where I feel like I made a lot of the right.
I mean, I have it right here. We were
close.
We were pretty damn on it. The three of us combined, there wasn't really much we missed. And again, it just depends on who probably replaces Weah. That could add another guy to the mix. I'm actually surprised we didn't see Zardes in this lineup.
Yeah,
or in this selection of guys.
I think he wanted to strike while the iron was hot with Pepe and maybe give him that opportunity right off the bat and not wait around in case he has a change of heart and then you lose that type of player.
I guess Zardes could be another possible Weah replacement with Hop and DK.
And again, this is the September one, so I believe it can change in October. So
it absolutely can. This is the first 3 game lineup.
And again, I'm sorry, Dan, but we are in the U.S. and we also don't care much for Canada. So
and we're way better than you outside of that one garbage loss over a year ago.
We thought the world was pretty much falling apart when Canada beats us.
Yeah, that was bad. We were at a low, and we shouldn't have been.
Point.
You know what it was? It was we were at a low, and we shouldn't have been. We knew the talent we had, and we weren't getting the production that we needed. But this summer really changed that outside of missing the Olympics. But that was whatever.
To be expected almost. But yeah.
Yeah. And just in case anybody really cares.
That's what we want. Yeah. That's the dream start.
Hey, Kickin Balls FC. Thanks for joining
Balls
us.
FC.
Nice name. We like it.
And Tommy says he hopes so, but again, it's the dream start that you want. You want the 3 for 3, and everybody's like, "Hey, it seems easier said than done, right? You're expecting this team to go, perfect 3 for 3, start out 9 points, but again, that's a perfect world, and a lot of times that doesn't happen. So
I think if if we get that win over Canada, I think you can lock it up. Even though, like we said, a road game to Honduras isn't going to be.
But again,
necessarily
Canada
easy.
at home, like you should expect
In
to
Nashville,
win that
we
game.
should. I expect to. I'm just saying if we. That's going to be. I think we get the 6, we get the 9. I think.
No, Canada will not be 3 for 3, Dan. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I just
Sorry,
don't
buddy.
see it. Maybe that second return leg in Canada at some point, you might have a chance, but
there are some EFL games going on today as well. So if anybody, just
so much going on. It's hard to cover all this stuff that's been like dropping recently in our show, but
yeah. Well, speaking of, so before we miss them or forget them, since we're about the halfway part, let's hit our great sponsors to the show real quick. Dan will be bored again. He hates when we do our sponsors.
I know, but he doesn't understand.
Unless he's throwing in some money and helping out the ATD community, he can kick rocks. It's sponsor time. Again, our boys at Manscaped. Dan, we know you need it. Hit the Manscaped.
It's that time, baby.
There's nothing else Adam can say. We've talked about it, and we talked about it, and we talked about it. Go on Manscaped. Go to manscaped.com. Put in your code A2D. You get 20% off. You get free shipping. It's an absolute no-brainer. You can't get those deals anywhere else. You can't walk into your local store, and even if they do carry the Manscaped products, you're not getting that 20% off, and it's not getting sent right to your door.
It's not.
You got to go out and you got to deal with all these crazy people. So definitely hit up the Manscaped. They've been a great sponsor to A2D Radio. And then
they really have, though. I mean, they gave us a test run. They said, "Hey, we love your stuff. We're going to have you come on as a permanent sponsor," which is fantastic. And it's never too early to think about Christmas gifts, guys.
Yeah, it's according to everything else in the world, it's right around the corner.
Right around the corner.
They're skipping over everything and going straight to Christmas. So might as well order it now.
Once Labor Day's over, it's Christmas time.
Yeah, hey, 20% off. Put it in the closet and don't forget about it. And if you do, then give yourself a gift in the new year.
Right.
When you find it.
A pleasant surprise.
Gator Country, what's up? What's up? Happy to have new names, new faces. And then obviously we don't want to forget our sponsor, the show sponsor, the man, the myth. Well, not a myth. He's the real deal.
He's real. I've seen him.
The legend, specializedphysicaltherapy.com, Burlington, Cherry Hill. They still do the telehealth if you need it, but don't be afraid. Head on in there. Get the relief that you need.
Number 1 in South Jersey.
Number 1 in South Jersey. Number 1 in our hearts, like we said.
Always.
So, check out Dr. Paul Vidal. And there you go. Adam?
And also, could be a good Christmas gift for anybody that loves sports out there. We got, just a reminder, we have tons of shows on A2D, the platform, covering pretty much any sport you want. You got the basketball, baseball, football, obviously, American football right around the corner. We have wrestling, all the WWE fans out there. We got great shows. Shout out to those guys. Also, obviously us. We got hockey too. The hockey happy hour. Great show with Pove and Daly. So everything, man. It's $10 a month is a steal for all the great stuff you can see on A2D Radio. You get appearances on shows, member-only streams. You get the shout-outs, weekly sports picks. So you could send them in. We'll send them your picks to the Money Pop Podcast and Willie Vegas. I'm waiting for the Willie Vegas first week of football predictions to drop here very shortly. Guy knows what he's talking about. So, I mean, all these great perks for $10 a month.
Yeah, and don't forget to just like, subscribe, and follow on all the socials.
Right.
Facebook, YouTube, anywhere. The Gram, Twitter. Because we're more than just Philly sports. We're more than we have national coverage for every big news dropping in sports on all the socials. Plus all the great shows like you covered. So what up, Pete? There's another one. Another
See, if
great
you remember,
AQD
you can
member.
get this cool little symbol that's next to Pete's name.
Chrome, what's up, brother?
What's up, man?
Chrome disagrees to the poll, unfortunately, and you're not alone. I mean, I think as a whole, I mean, Adam pretty much disagreed in the fact that 7 points isn't going 3-0; it's going 2-0-1. So
it's a pipe
It's not gonna
dream
be
to
easy.
make the perfect
gonna be
start,
easy.
and we think that it's going to be.
I'm drinking the Kool-Aid.
The
drinking the
beautiful.
US
We think that it's all changed, and this team's going to go perfect 3-0 to start. But in all reality, which I've tried to be realistic from the start on this show and not be too biased, and I'm saying
No.
I
just need it. Like, look at this. Like, I
we
can't.
need it. We definitely need it, but I'm just it's.
Yeah, but like you don't need it. Like it's great for you. You got good things going on.
Attitude to be like, 3 for 3. There's no way. Some hiccup's going to happen along the way, where Greg makes the wrong decision on a starting 11, and we somehow lose or draw a game that we shouldn't.
I'm looking at this lineup, and I don't see how he could make a wrong decision other than if he doesn't start somebody maybe on defense. But
it is a different built team. There's no question about that. I do agree with you, Kickin' Balls FC. I do agree.
All right, here's a question for you and anybody else listening that wants to. Who starts in goal game 1?
Zach Steffen.
Yeah? You think so? 100% against El Salvador?
I just don't think he did enough to lose that position.
And I don't want people, we talk about this. We got 3 games in 8 days.
Yeah.
So if somebody of big name or significance is not in the El Salvador lineup, we can't overreact that it means they're not a starter. Because you would think probably that's going to be the lineup he toys with the most is that game 1 El Salvador lineup.
Yeah.
And then Canada has to be like 18 at home in Nashville. And most likely Honduras also is going to have to be that. But I don't disagree with it. It should be Steffen too. I think it will be Steffen. I wouldn't freak out if like Matt Turner got that game and then Steffen got the next 2. Or again, like we said, if we see what if Pulisic doesn't start game 1? Are you gonna freak out? Like, what if he comes on it in 60 against El Salvador? Like, do we need Christian Pulisic to start game 1?
Yes.
And just barrel him down and then come out in the 60th minute instead? Cut his time that way? Like
I think also as a Chelsea fan, I'd like to see him get some actual playing time.
Yeah, well, coming off the COVID stuff and all that as well. I'm with you. And
but he might tinker the lineup. I agree. He might do something weird in that first game against El Salvador. Or you show your hand right away and say, we're coming to El Salvador to beat the shit out of you.
Yeah, and
come out with an A squad and,
make the changes as we start getting up 3-4-0.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
I wouldn't be surprised if he rolls the dice and comes out with some crazy back 4 and has... he throws George Bello out there for whatever reason. You just don't know. And we talked about Miles Robinson played his way into this team, which we pretty much all 3 of us predicted that would happen because of the Gold Cup performance.
He deserves to be on the team. I don't have him starting yet, but he definitely deserves to be.
Well, like we said, him and Kellen Acosta, I think, played their way into this roster with performances that they've had.
And of course, Sebastian Lejet made it because Sebastian Lejet makes every single roster, every team.
I swear, it's gonna come out that he's like related to Greg Berhalter somehow.
But he doesn't play. He's played well in his opportunities. He does on occasion seem a little overwhelmed on ball at times, but
the only three that I question out of the whole roster that he selected was James Sands, question mark, George Bello, question mark. 4. Christian Roldan, I don't know why he's on this team because he got the cross that got the goal. I think, was he the one that Hopi had the header on?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So that apparently got him on the team. And Conrad. Like, I love Conrad, but he didn't play enough at Barcelona, obviously, so he shipped out to Marseille. He's really been a part of this, like, crew in the past year.
He's another one, though, that I wouldn't be surprised gets a couple early. I'm surprised he made the team, but looking at this and the fact that he still only has that one cap registered, he could be another one that they're just looking to cap tie. You know, I mean, again, you might see him start against El Salvador. That might be like, hey, let's start him and get Pepe off the bench, and there's a cap each against a bad team. Just to that's definitely got to be part of the. That's the only reason I could see him being selected.
I wouldn't be surprised if Pepe makes his appearance against El Salvador in some shape or form. I'm just surprised Conrad was included.
Yeah,
He took another forward. Like, I called Aronson making the team.
Oh yeah.
And I got to give love to my Union Bros. Like McKenzie called that.
I guess I can literally, the only viable reason is just because Conrad's got the one cap and he needs at least 2 more to be cap tied, and maybe after this September he gets his 2, and if he doesn't completely shine, then that next wave is either Hoppy or DK back again because they're already locked in.
Yeah, I mean,
it could just literally be a strategic move.
It could be. But, I mean, Pulisic's got that spot down. I don't see Conrad playing much.
No, he's
Gio's playing fantastic for Dortmund, so
these are these guys.
I would assume his international U.S. duty would follow suit.
That's like your dream scenario, right? Against El Salvador, they come out, they just run roughshod for the first half, and they're up 4-5-0 in the 50th minute, and Pulisic comes out, and Conrad goes in and eats up some minutes, gets a cap, and all is well.
I would rather go that way, where you just start your best lineup, you throw them out there, and if it happens to be 3-0 or so by halftime, or 4-1, 4-0 by the 50th, 60th minute, then go for it. Then start tinkering around and throwing some guys in there just to get some work. But I don't know. You can't be too cute in CONCACAF qualifying for the World Cup.
No.
You just can't. You can't come out with some like crazy lineup with like George Bello, Miles Robinson, James Sands, and like Walker Zimmerman in the back 4. I don't want to see that because this isn't like the Olympics or the World or the Gold Cup. This is like big boy stuff. I don't need to see.
No, you're right.
Some of that like tinkered, like insane.
Well, that goes perfect with what Greg said. He does not want to see Brad Guzan. You got the name perfectly.
Don't worry,
right.
You won't ever see him ever again.
That's over.
Because Matt Turner just cemented himself as that number 2 or 3 probably for the next 10 years. Is he better than Ethan Horvath, though?
From what I mean...
That's the question you got to ask yourself.
I watched that kid stand on his head this whole summer.
Are both those players better than Zach Steffen? Is Matt Turner the guy, though? And I'm trying not to have my recency bias.
He's
but
just
he
such
was
a
fantastic
goalie. He just looks like a goalie. He reminds me of a goalie. And with the Revs,
he's been fantastic, too. So.
He's really good at PKs. He's a good goalie. He's a good goalie. I don't know if he's better than Zach Steffen, but
At least one of the three actually start for their club team.
is Hogarth not starting anymore?
I don't believe he's at.
Or
Well, he's at
Horvath?
Nottingham Forest, so I don't know if he's getting time or not.
I'm pretty sure he's starting at Forest.
I hope not, because Forest is in the bottom of the championship with 1 point through 5 games. So I really hope he's not.
I hope
starting.
it's not his doing.
I hope
Yeah.
it's not. And I started to think about this sidebar that I think I'm the one that jinxed Nottingham Forest to be so shit.
You did.
Because ever since that day, they have been terrible.
Yeah, there was 2 weeks left
All
before
they had to do was get like 5 points from like 6 games, and
Adam pre-promoted them back to the Prem, and since then they're about to do the double relegation.
I totally mushed them big time.
Yeah, Adam apologizes to you guys. I think it's great.
Apologize to my good friend David Riley, work buddy from Nottingham. He's probably like losing his mind. And there was the Midlands Derby between them and Derby County over the weekend, and they drew.
Oh man.
2 teams that hate each other.
Yeah, I was looking at that table. It's an interesting table to start the year.
Yeah, Fulham on top.
Got Fulham on top, West Brom and QPR starting off the season.
Yeah, but also it's way too early to be making any of those.
Oh, speaking of way too early, Rochdale just took the nice 1-0 lead over the Liverpool U21s in the EFL Championship.
Rochdale.
Yep.
That's good to know.
Yeah, anytime Liverpool gets knocked out of something, that would be great. They're running out an entire team of.
Be
I don't
nice.
think there's one player I've ever heard of in that Liverpool 18. So
Be nice.
I'm super nice.
Let's talk about the championship club Arsenal.
Oh man,
It's tough, man. It's tough stuff.
it's tough. It's
Well,
tough. There's not.
You got a great opportunity when we come back from international break. You got Norwich, the battle of the.
The battle for relegation. Expect a draw. Expect a draw, and Arsenal to stay in 20th. As you can see, the kit is turned around. I made a statement in our group text. The kit will not be returned back to its normal state until we either crack the top 10 this season or win anything. I don't care if it's Carabao Cup, EFL, something, some kind of hardware.
I don't know.
I don't.
I mean, if you lose or draw to Norwich, Arteta's got to be gone, right?
The fact that man still has a job at this point is just mind-boggling to me, and I don't know if it's his fault. The fact that whole organization,
It's
UEFA needs to step in and make Kroenke, just force Kroenke to sell, because this is just bad.
It's so bad at Arsenal that Willian foregone $24 million and just
Yeah, he was like, just get me out
ripped
of
it up.
here.
I just want to go.
Yeah, and he goes back to Brazil and joins Corinthians. Good for him. He deserves to be happy. A lot of guys deserve to be happy.
It was so bad that he liked Chelsea's tweet. Or he liked Chelsea's Instagram post when they beat Arsenal. It's like, bro, really?
Yeah, it's just a toxic situation right now.
I didn't like the move from the start for him, but
no, and now apparently we're linked to Bologna's defender Takahiro Tamayasu.
nice.
The kid's a player, but again, like I feel bad for him because we really need defensive help. It is blatantly clear we need help on this defense. Maybe a pairing of him and Ben White when he comes off COVID protocol would help. But it's not good. Kolasinac. What Kolasinac do?
I mean, there's been some movement though. Today is transfer deadline day. If you missed that at the beginning of the show,
Yes. Transfer window closes today at midnight tonight.
Interesting names. Chris Richards, the American, goes back to Hoffenheim on loan from Bayern.
You figured that was definitely happening, and that was another guy I was unfortunate to see left off of this squad as well.
He just needs to play a little bit more.
He will. I think it's another super young one. I think him and Bucio were probably part of that next wave. So,
Dennis Pratt goes from Leicester to Torino on loan. Interesting.
Edward comes in from Celtic to Palace.
Nice. Reece Nelson out at Arsenal to Rotterdam, Feyenoord.
Yes. Heading off to good old Rotterdam on loan. We talked about the Daniel James. That is a 5-year done signed deal.
Yeah, Dan James.
So United. You know what the funny thing about that is, coming off break, is our boy Thomas Wilson in our fantasy league is sitting in the bottom of the table and is going to have prime position to sign Ronaldo. However, he may opt to waiver claim Daniel James.
I think he wants to just stick with his guns.
I sent him a message just for the sanctity of the league, and I was like, dude, please at least put a claim in for the guy.
Yeah.
Like I sent him and Julio both messages, although Julio got a win this week, so he's no longer in the running. But any bottom table teams that are part of our fantasy league, please put in a claim for Ronaldo.
For context that Brian's talking about, in our Kickin at Stateside Premier League Fantasy League, there's one guy who basically rolls out.
He's a huge Leeds fan.
It's all the Leeds players. It's basically Leeds as a team in fantasy.
Unless you jump him in the draft to take a Leeds player, he's going to take the best available Leeds player each pick.
So he lives and dies by Leeds, how they're doing, and obviously they're not doing that great to start, and he is in the bottom. Last year, different story. Leeds jumped out to a great start, scoring goals, getting clean sheets. He started out fantastic. You live and die by one squad. That's a tough.
Yeah, it's tough
to do, man.
Yeah.
I guess this Camavinga, the young starlet, is done deal.
That's done.
Camavinga goes from Stade Rennais to Real Madrid.
It sounds like Mbappe's not going to happen now, although every time you hear unlikely 2 hours later, it's a done deal. So, again, this is like that really crazy time, those last waning hours till deadline day. We always warn people. I warned, and we weren't the only ones to do it. Actually, you and I didn't technically do it, but like when the whole Ronaldo thing going to United came, or to City came out, and we were like, hey, pump the brakes. In this sport, until it's announced and he's flown in there for a medical, none of these things mean anything. And technically, he wasn't even announced till today. So it became official today that he went to United. So anytime these little things pop up, there's still no 100% done deals.
So Moise Kean went back from PSG to Everton this season, but apparently he's not in Rafa Benitez. Or no, who's at Everton now? Yeah, Rafa.
Yeah,
Rafa is at Everton. So I guess he's not in Everton's plans because he got loaned out to Juve.
Yeah, he's going to take.
Where he started.
He's going to take the striker spot from, with Ronaldo's absence. I guess him and Morata will share those roles up top.
Come on, man. You have too much loyalty. It's only a fantasy league.
Yeah, and a free.
I don't even care. I'd freaking get Ronaldo in fantasy, even if I hated United. I don't even care. I'd take it.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe in a free league I wouldn't, just because I was like, I'm gonna make a stand and not take a guy. But like if there was money involved, you take the best player.
Dan, there is no Canadians in the Prem, so you would have no team.
Yeah, Is there one Canadian in the Prem right now? I mean, there has been recently. And
where's Junior Hoylett at?
He's probably still in League 1 or League 2 somewhere.
That's all I can think of.
There is talks if in Chelsea. I don't know. Did you hear any more on the Saul deal from Atletico? Because
I did not, but it seemed like that was going to fall through.
okay, because that would be a nice addition to your guy. I mean, your guys' midfield's already solid, but he's another good player. He's really good on ball, good passer.
I did hear rumblings yesterday that Hudson-Odoi to Dortmund was on the table, possibly. Loan deal.
You'd be happy with that.
I'd be very happy with that. So if I would assume if that happened, maybe that would open the door for Sal. But again, I haven't really heard much on that front. Good old Mark Cucarella, the Spanish starlet defensive player, goes from Getafe to Brighton.
Yeah, that was interesting.
I like Mark Cucarella.
Sounded like he was going to choose to stay with Getafe and then made a decision to leave and go to Brighton. So Brighton started off good, not so good last week, but they're adding. Hey, at least they're adding. Give them credit. They're trying to add something and stay relevant.
It's like Juve offloading a lot of players to make room for some Moise Keane. Maybe they got something else in the works. Santiago Munoz. He's an actual real person, not from the movie Goal. There is an actual Santiago Munoz that went from, I believe it is Santos Laguna to Newcastle, which is actually funny because Santiago Munoz in the movie played for Newcastle.
Nice.
Coincidence? I don't know.
So I'm looking here. It looks like there is currently one Canadian player in the Premier League, and it's I'm going to kill his name, but Theo Corbuno with the Wolves, the young kid. He's, I guess, capped for the Romanian U17 team, so he's not even like a rotational player or anything. But that's current Canadians in the Prem.
Nice.
Yeah, one. Way to go, Dan. Even the U.S. has more than that.
Trying to look at some of these. Good old Wesley goes from Villa, where he just never played, to Club Bruges on loan.
Nice.
Obviously, Kurt Zuma goes from Chelsea to West Ham, if people didn't hear that during the week.
Yeah, that did end up happening.
That did happen.
Emerson Royal leaves Barca and goes to Spurs, of course, instead of Arsenal. Arsenal had him on the radar to replace Bellerin, and they still haven't moved Bellerin, and now he's with Spurs. So,
see you, Danny.
You said Lookman. You already mentioned Lookman.
Adama Lookman. I literally looked at that signing, but I did not say anything. No.
Okay. Sema comes into Brighton, and then they loaned him out to Stoke. Connor Roberts from Swansea to Burnley.
See, I didn't know that Eric Palmer-Brown, the U.S. kid, was at City.
Yeah.
And then he went to Troyes.
Yeah, I don't know.
French League One.
I believe he was loaned out from City. I don't know where he was playing loaned out, but
obviously, if you're a fan of Bayern, like Brian, is excited for Marcel Sabitzer over from Leipzig.
The rich get richer. It looks like Lev's staying. I mean, again, we got a few hours left, but I haven't heard anything. And when a guy like that's name be thrown around, usually you hear something. On a positive note, though, it looks like Haaland's staying, so that's good for the Bundesliga. As much as we talk about, there's not much parity in the Bundesliga, and it seems to be a kind of a one-team show with Dortmund and Leipzig kind of helping keep the league afloat. To get stars like that to stay, it definitely adds a little bit more attraction still, even though it might only be a short time.
Well, now it's just like you said, the rich are getting richer. Bayern just keeps on adding good players from other teams in the league, which makes it almost impossible I mean, I like the way Dortmund plays. They have a good squad, but again, they're barely beating. They had a 90-plus minute goal from Holland over the weekend to even beat Hoffenheim
Yeah.
3-2, and they lost to Freiburg the week earlier. So I'm not convinced.
Yeah.
I'm just not convinced that there's going to be a different champion in the Bundesliga. I'm just not.
I mean, I wouldn't go nutty and say that they're going to
Because
lose.
Leipzig had a great thing going, and they've been selling like crazy, so they're not going to contend, I doubt. Wolfsburg's, I think, in first, but I'm not scared of them at all.
Yeah, I mean, Bayern's shown that even with a rotated squad,
You can't even sit there with a straight face and say that they won't win the league.
No, there might be a moment during this year where they're not leading the table, but I still wouldn't ever think at some point, unless something crazy happened, that they're not going to come back and win the league. I mean, right now they're sitting. I mean, we're 3 games in, and they're in third because they drew one. But good old Wolfsburg just going strong.
It's a good start.
Yeah. They're getting Champions League games. They're off to a good start. It's a good thing for our center back.
Yeah, JB.
Yeah.
What was another one that I saw that was kind of interesting? Maybe not.
Oh, no. The Vlasic to West Ham.
Yeah,
Nikola Vlasic. That's going to be one of those quiet good moves for West Ham. The guy from CSKA, the Croatian.
I had to check if he was from the Czech Republic, if they were doing some more recruiting.
I know,
West
but
Ham.
I did the same thing, but I mean, you figure, not to sound, but like Croatia and the Czech guys, they're going to somewhat have some stuff to talk about. They'll have a comfortability with each other.
Yeah.
I think that's just another solid guy that this West Ham team continues to add, and they're going to be tough, man.
I said they had that disappointing draw over the weekend, but sitting right up there. Again, Spurs are in first, so I can't really be like, oh, my God.
Yeah.
I was talking to James, our Spurs resident fan, him saying, yeah, we were in first last Christmas and saw how that turned out.
Yeah.
When was the last time someone other than Bayern actually won the league? Wasn't it 10 years ago? 9 years now?
It's been a while now. Yeah, I think that this past one was the 9th straight. I could be mistaken. I'll look it up real quick. Dini out.
Going back home to where he started.
Yeah, man, that's cool.
Birmingham.
I'm gonna have to get that Birmingham Dini kit.
I may have gotten a Venezia jersey the other day.
Ooh, nice.
That fresh white one.
Yeah, love it.
And maybe the Chelsea third kit I just got. Maybe
that Byron third kit.
It's fresh. I can't knock on that.
Might be coming as well. So let's see. Bundesliga.
Yeah, did Dortmund win the league when they were in the Champions League final against Bayern in 13? They did win in 11.
I want to say
when it was literally that core group of young players, like a young Götze, a young Gundogan, like
I want to say it's been 9.
Hummels.
I swear it's been 9 straight. Let me see. Oh, damn it! That's not what I wanted. Eric, why do you got to do this to me right at the end of this show?
Some good trivia, some good Bundesliga. See, it's been so long that nobody knows.
Yeah, I know. We would just win too many. Let's see.
Too many.
Let's see. We got Jesus. 20, 21, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12. You nailed it on the head. 2010-11 season was Dortmund's win.
I think that's when I became a fan.
So basically, Bayern has won the Bundesliga. If you go back to 1996, they won 96-97. They didn't win 97-98. They won 98-99, 99-2000, 2000, 2001, 2000, 2002. Oh, they didn't win 01-02. They won 02-03. They didn't win 03-04. Or did they? No, they came runner-up. They won 04-05, 05-06. They didn't win 06-07. No, yeah. They won 07-08. They won 09-010 or 10. Then Dortmund won, and then Bayern's won ever since. 12 on. It's been, so 8 straight, 9 straight.
And I said this last year, there's no like end sight for this Bayern organization.
So Bayern has 30 Bundesliga titles. The next closest is Dortmund with 5 and Gladbach with 5.
That's wild.
Yeah. And I mean, we're going back to the 60s. Mid 60s is the technical start of the now current format of Bundesliga. So
right.
Yeah, it's been pretty dominant. It's my only saving grace in all of this sport with the mediocrity that I've gone through being a U.S. fan over the years, although that's changing now. Obviously, it's been a real long time since Arsenal's been any bit of anything. And then all the other clubs that I just follow for kind of a little bit of fun is what it is. But if I need that fix of just good football and a nice win, I'll throw a Bayern game on.
Yeah.
Got my Bayern pants on today just to make myself feel better.
I almost threw a U.S. jersey on, but maybe I'll do that for Thursday's show.
Yeah, well, I did make that statement. I said, at least these first 3 games, if every win we get in these first 3, I'm going to order a new U.S. kit. It could be an old kit, but new. But I'm going to – so the more they win, the more this collection will continue to grow. So hopefully they start on Thursday.
Hopefully. I mean, we will get one more show in before that game. Again, we can kind of talk about, maybe make a prediction on what we would think a starting 11 would be for said game on Thursday. We didn't really get to the Prem today because we were just trying to get this U.S. game and just everything else. Transfer deadline day is probably the highlight of today, so we tried to get that in as much as possible. But again, I'm sure it's young season in the Prem. There's one, the Chelsea-Liverpool game you can talk about. What I would say, controversy, maybe not. Putting refs in bad positions. That's why Free Reese is my caption today. But, I don't know. To me, but the problem is that Liverpool fans are going to say that, it's horseshit that it was a blatant handball. Right. He stopped the ball from going in the net with his hand. To me, I'm like, was there actual clear motion that he was, because he did kind of like scoop it.
Yeah.
Which made it really hard but the only problem, and I said this in the chat, the ref literally went over to the board, saw a still frame, and made a decision in like 3 seconds and said it was a penalty.
Right.
He didn't even go through the actual videotape to see. He saw one thing like this. In a still frame. That's the only issue I have.
The unfortunate part is, and I argue it too, and it's just that stupid letter of the law says, that.
I thought they were going to get rid of that whole letter of the law.
I know, and it's like Lord Walker said, it's a goal scoring opportunity and all that. I mean, if we're in a Sunday league, I've had refs do that where they've looked at me and that happens, and they're like, "Listen, I'm just going to give him the pen. I'm not gonna penalize you twice. It's bad enough I got to give a pen on something like that. I'm not going to red card you and give you the pen." I don't think refs are allowed to use that same discretion when you get into that level of, you got to really go by the book, especially with so many eyes and cameras on you nowadays. But I don't know. It was kind of dumb. People are going to be mad at me. Eric can be mad at me. Lord Walker can be mad at me. But it's clear that after that, still Chelsea is the better team right now. Because to face what Chelsea had to face and play that whole second half of man down, I don't care parking the bus, not parking the bus, against a talented offensive Liverpool team like that, to sit down and hold them to nothing in the second half and change your whole game plan based off of that. Chelsea's still in my eyes, one of the creams of the crop in the Prem, even though I had them fourth. But again, we said after the deadline, which we will do, when we come back from international break, we will again readdress that top 6, bottom 3, because it's only right to do, because obviously Ronaldo's in our league now, and I have a feeling some people will change their stance on United, and you might have some stubborn guys that don't. So
I think it was to hit on that quickly, that was the best thing he could have done, because now it's like his swan song, like going back to United where it all started, giving that love, because everyone was like, what the fuck, he's really going to do that, go to City and, possibly tarnish his legacy at United for doing that. And he probably got a little of that backlash as well, like, are you sure this is the right, hey, Cristiano, like, you sure you want to do this? Like, you do this. Yeah. There's no going back to United for any ceremonies or anything like that without getting fucking booed terribly. So,
and it could have been a negotiation tactic the whole time.
It could have been.
So, either way, I think out of the way, as bad as this whole world's been recently, that seems like the only like normal whole thing that happened. Like, if he would have went to City, it would have just been like, oh man, the sky is falling even more on.
But this just
feels right. It does.
Feels right, and it's what the GOAT does, and it's what GOATs do. He could have chickened out like a certain person and went to a team that you're going to win a shit ton of titles with. Not going to say any names. Yeah. He went back, pressure, going back to United. All that legacy, everything he said, you know what, this is the best move for me. This is what my legacy is going to be, going back, maybe winning a title and just cementing himself as the GOAT of all time, and not taking the easy way out and going to City where it just could be one more title for, City.
And I think Edison Cavani would be pretty happy, because most likely he's getting a brand new Bugatti just to give up his number, because I don't see Cristiano Ronaldo rebranding himself and not getting number 7 away from Cavani.
I'm sure that was some type of bribery was probably, hey man,
Oh yeah,
what's in it for me? I'll give you that number.
Oh yeah. It's going to happen. It hasn't been announced anywhere yet, but
and Agent Bruno was like, "Hey, man, I think United's probably a lot better than City."
Hey, that that had to play some factor. I mean, having somebody from his home country already there that's been pretty dominant since he's come to the Prem. As much as people want to argue it, there's no arguing the numbers. Bruno's been one of the best players since he's arrived in the Premier League. It's a formidable team, man. And without a horse in the race right now, they're gonna be one of those teams where I run to the TV just to watch, just to see the some of the star power there. God, definitely.
Yeah.
So
I mean, he puts butts in seats, and he's going to bring a lot of money to. And those jersey sales, I'm sure, are already through the roof of Ronaldo. Or if you already had, and if you're old enough, you probably already had a Ronaldo Man United jersey.
sure.
But yeah, I don't know. It's it should be fun going forward. But again, anything else you got before we jump out of here?
No, I think we covered enough today. Again, like we said, it always seems to happen. I'm sure some big name will get transferred off as soon as we get off air or whatever. But we will be back on Thursday. Leading up to that game, we'll get a little bit more take on the men's national team. We'll see if Way is replaced. If Lord Walker wants to jump on with us as well, he's welcome to. I just didn't want to let it go so long. I knew that we were going to be able to talk about that Thursday. But I figure 2 shows about it's plenty. You know, there's plenty we can discuss when it comes to U.S. men's national team and all that. So
it's the most exciting time right now. Here it starts. Big boys are starting up now. So it's time to nut up or shut up as a U.S. men's national team player. And for us, we got to get behind this team. So, yeah, I think that's it from us.
Yeah.
I said yellow card, red card, anything.
Nothing. No, I'm gonna let it. I mean, there's one. I have one clear red card, and I don't even. I can't talk. I just can't even talk about it. There's no need to talk about any of it. It's just an awful team right now. They're not fun to watch. Very little hope. We'll see what happens. Something's got to turn around or major change has to be made. So, like I said, that kid's going to stay where it belongs, flipped upside down, backwards, however it should be, till we see something out of my players, my coach, my ownership, anything.
I was going to say it has to be, I think, a red card for Arsenal just being just a shitty organization right now.
Yeah, it's just they're just dreadful, absolutely dreadful.
It's fitting though, because Arsenal would get the red card, and then the Norwich would get a yellow card.
Yeah,
Perfect. And one of those teams might be actually have a win under our belts when we talk about this in a couple weeks.
Yeah, when we get back off this break, it's going to be talk about put up or shut up. That's literally the moment for Arsenal. It's like your entire everything is on the line at that point against a really bad team in Norwich as well. So
fun times ahead. Love it.
Yeah, great.
Yay.
So,
all right, yeah. Well, we're gonna jump out of here again. Thanks to everybody for joining us. Eric, Lord Walker, Tommy, Daly, Pove, Dan. From the Greg, Kickin Balls FC, thanks for joining. Pete, Chrome, Gator Country for checking in. Ritter, and of course the big boss man Tommy, Jake, of course. Again, always great shows on this HD platform throughout the week. We will be back with you guys on Thursday, same time, 2 o'clock. To talk a little more U.S. men's national team game and gear up for that 10 o'clocker Eastern time against El Salvador Thursday. So we'll see you guys on Thursday.
Let's go.
Love y'all.